Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
All right, hour two, last hour of the week here on the Hunt Palmer Show. We're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Eventually, I might talk about some of the NFL games this weekend. I might not. We'll see. There's a lot of portal talk to be had. I want to spend some time on that, certainly when we come back. LSU does play a basketball game tomorrow. Might not get to that either. It's portal season, and I guess that's going to be a new part of our calendar. I don't know that we're going to get 35 a year here. I guess theoretically you could, but I think the hope is in this class that you've got some guys that might stick around a few years, because you've got a lot of guys who have played 1 and 2 years of college football that have jumped in the portal and come to LSU, and maybe they stick around for a couple of years. We'll just have to see. But we'll get to that a little bit later. I want to talk some Saints because we got some news today that Joel Thomas, who is on the Saints staff, running back coach, associate head coach, is going to be one of the head coaches for the Senior Bowl. He's going to be the coach of the American team. And the NFL is built for parity. Built for parity. You win, you get a harder schedule and a worse draft pick. You lose, you get an easier schedule, easier draft pick. Your owner's rich, he can spend X amount. Your owner's not as rich, he can only spend that same amount. They make it as equitable as possible, and that's the reason why you've seen everybody in the NFC make the conference title game in the time since the Cowboys made it, and they had a dynasty that wasn't that long ago. Yeah, it was 30 years ago, but like in the grand scheme of things, when's the last time the Pittsburgh Pirates were any good? When's the last time the Cincinnati Reds were relevant? Don't see a lot of action more often than not than from the Mariners. Good this year, but like you get the point. Pelicans are never any good. So it's like there's just an incredible amount of parity in the NFL. And this is not a big advantage. Trust me, I'm not trying to oversell this. But one of the things that the Saints have to their advantage, you can put whatever increment you want on it, but it is an advantage. The Saints are far and away the closest team to Mobile of anybody in the National Football League. You can get to Mobile real quick from the Central Business District, okay? You can get there real quick from out in Metairie at the facility. And the Saints have leaned on that for the Senior Bowl. The Saints have traditionally sent as big or bigger contingent to Mobile than anybody because it's just easier logistically. Like, trust me, every single NFL team has got a big old jet or two, and they can get anybody they want to Mobile. I know that. I know. But the Saints can just drive on over there with whoever they want and spend as much time in there as they want or as little time there as they want. And let's be frank. The Senior Bowl is an important scouting tool. We send a crew, 104.5 ESPN, to the Senior Bowl every year. And I think that T-Bob and Jake have done an awesome job over the years of talking about guys that they've seen at the Senior Bowl. And this year, Jake and Flynn will be there as well. And I'm really looking forward to their content from there because there are really, really good players that play there every year. And the Saints can get an up-close and personal look at it. And then you put on top of that one of your staff members is now the head coach of one of those sides. That's an awesome thing for the Saints. Because what do we know about the New Orleans Saints? This draft is vital. I will take every single possible advantage when looking at this draft because I feel like, and I think it's reasonable to say, you hit on the last draft class. We'll find out just how good that hit was in the next 3 years, but you've hit. It's not a flop. It's not a bust. It's not one of the, and look, the Saints have done it. It's not one of those complete busts. I think your first round pick's a good player. I'm hopeful the second round pick is franchise altering. And I think in rounds 3 through 7, you've probably found 2 or 3 or 4 more starters in that group. That's great. You have to follow it up. And the Senior Bowl gives you that opportunity. And what do we know about the draft that the Saints just had? Well, I didn't know this for sure offhand, and I certainly could have looked it up, but I was writing 160 portal pieces for LouisianaSports.net. So I texted my guy, Ross Jackson. We know Ross, Locked On Saints, LouisianaSports.net Saints beat writer. I said, Ross, Saints leaned on the Senior Bowl pretty hard last year, right? He said, yeah. 5 guys they drafted played in the Senior Bowl. Stutzman declined an invite, and Broughton was hurt. So you look at the Saints draft class last year, they were heavy on Mobile. This is your last chance to get eyes on football. And it's real football. Talk to Hester about it. Talk about those practices. They go every year. Hester played in them. It's real deal stuff. The Combine, Underwear Olympics, whatever. This is football. And if you can find somebody in Mobile that you might unearth in the 4th round that can start, it just changes things. Because I do believe the Saints are going to be in a position in the next 2 off seasons to spend some cash in free agency. But what do we talk about all the time? You just want to be sure you're hitting on draft picks because they're cheap and they're 23, 24 years old. Those are the guys you need to revamp your roster. And if you can find an edge rusher in the 4th round, my goodness. If you can find a right guard in the 3rd round, awesome. If you can find somebody in the 6th round that becomes a weapon for you in the passing game, it's just the best way to do business. And again, I'm not suggesting that because you've got Joel Thomas coaching one team that nobody in your division or the NFC as a conference is going to be able to get the insight that you can. That's not the point. The point is, it's just a nice little nod. In a league that absolutely prioritizes and emphasizes and carries out a commitment to parity, when you're the Saints and your roster last year is one of the worst in the sport and your salary cap position is still not awesome and you're still looking to plug a lot of holes in your roster, being able to have a coach of one of the teams and to be able annually to send as big a contingent as anybody in the league to the place that's closest to you is a big deal. And I think this time of year, we could sit here and discuss everyone that's going to be a free agent day over day over day. It's probably not the greatest radio you've ever heard. But this is news that comes out today, and I just feel like, hey, what if this is worth a starter? What if Joel Thomas, in his time there, finds something that you find in the 5th round? Like, there are only 22 starting positions, right? What if you fill one of them because you got a better look at him than everybody else? That sounds like a small deal, but if you extrapolate it over 4 years, it is a big deal. So it's no guarantee. I just like it. I like anything that's positive. I think about our conversations this time last year. Didn't have a coach. Didn't have a quarterback. Coming off a bad year. Toxic locker room. People on Twitter chirping about Dennis Allen. Feeling like you're not going to get Ben Johnson. You're not going to get Aaron Glenn. Where are you going to land with this coaching search? And then I think about where we were in October. Loss. And then Shuck comes in. And then Kellen Moore gets his feet on the ground. And then Brandon Staley turns that defense that struggled early in the season and gets it playing at a top 10 level in the league. And then you get news that, hey, you got a slight leg up in the Senior Bowl. I'm not going to dismiss anything positive. After the 2 years of garbage we went through covering this team, that you went through pulling for this team, I'm not going to dismiss news like this. I think it's a great thing that the Saints have this. And hopefully it's worth a couple of players when that time comes to make some draft picks. But the Saints will have Joel Thomas, running back coach, and associate head coach as a head coach in the Senior Bowl. The other team, the national team, will be led by Clint Hurd of the Philadelphia Eagles. They don't seem to need a ton of help in terms of their personnel department. They do a pretty good job. As far as team chemistry, they could use some work on that. But the Saints are working in that direction, too. We'll send Jake and Flynn over to the Senior Bowl here in a week or so, and very much looking forward to their content from Mobile. Hopefully, Black and Gold can capitalize on the fact that they've got a coach on the Senior Bowl staff. All right, let's go back to the portal. Couple of names I'm looking at that LSU could potentially add that I think could be difference makers for this squad. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. If you want a full-scale renovation, they can do it. Our guy Brian Haldane, morning show on Talk 107.3, Mornings with Brian Haldane. He said, hey, who's your guy for bathrooms and closets? Said David Duvall, One Bath and Closets. Said, all right. So he called him. That process wrapped up last week. And if you check out Brian's Facebook page, you can see the pictures of their finished work. It is stunning. Brian will vouch for it. He's seen it in person. I haven't. Hadn't been in Brian's bathroom. But I see the pictures. They look awesome. And that's courtesy of the folks at One Bath and Closets. They can do your full renovations. They can handle a tub-to-shower conversion, including a shower converting into a closet, relay the tile, move a shower, install a shower. They can do your vanity with all the woodwork as well. All that can be done with the folks at One Bath and Closets. Soup to nuts. You don't have to call 4 different contractors to handle this deal. If you're looking to completely transform your bathroom.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Y'all should see me during these breaks. I'm furiously checking our portal tracker, comparing it to the LSU roster, looking at the visit list, and then recompiling what that position might look like. Like that's how quickly things tend to move in this case. Tomorrow on LouisianaSports.net, I will have a portal profile series I'm running on every single portal commitment LSU gets on South Carolina edge Jaylen Brown. And that's the position group I want to talk about right now because it is one that I expressed a little bit of concern about, not in terms of numbers. LSU is in great shape in terms of numbers. In terms of impact guys, in terms of potential All-Americans, potential All-SEC players, potential game changers on the edge. I misfired on LSU's portal class this past year and what their impact was going to be at defensive end. I thought, based on what Kevin Peoples did with Braden Swinson and Savion Jones, who were completely different players in their final college season. I mean, Swinson didn't really do anything at Oregon. He came to LSU his first year, not much. Savion Jones was supposed to be next in the line. It was like Caleb Chason, B.J. Ojulari, Savion Jones. That was supposed to be the lineage. And I think Chason was right after Key. So it was Key, Chason, Ojulari, boom, Savion Jones is next. Long, rangy, edge rusher, game wrecker. And he just wasn't for 3 years. And then he played great his last year and he became a third-round pick. So I thought, okay, you got Kevin Peoples, and he's going to come in, and he's got Jack Pyburn, who's a stout run stopper, 270 pounds, 265 pounds. He'll help him. And then you heard Pyburn talking. He's like, I've worked on my pass rush game. I'm a different player. You bring in Patrick Payton, who set the world on fire for 2 years in Tallahassee. Not as good as third year, but was awesome. And his stats, as I said many times, mirrored Barkevious Mingo's at LSU when he was at Florida State. Plus, you bring in Jamari Butler. Plus, you've got Gabe Relaford, who we think a lot of. And, you're going to have, tremendous pass rush. And it just didn't happen. LSU was 12th in the SEC in sacks this year and 66th nationally. They did not have a single sack against Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, or Houston. Not one. It's 4 different games, and you lost all 4 of them. I just think you got to affect the passer. You've got to get after people. A&M was great at it this year, and they started 11-0. Ole Miss was great at it 2 years ago, and they had a really good defense. And LSU just never got that type of play. And I'm looking at what LSU brings back, and Relaford got hurt the elbow, the arm, and he'll hopefully come back full strength, and you think he's got a lot of talent. And you bring back Damian Shanklin, who was thought of as a very highly talented recruit, who's tall and long, had a couple sacks in a rental win. Dylan Carpenter's still around. He's been here 3 years, didn't do a ton in the bowl game when he got an opportunity, but he's here and he's big. You got Kalaj Cobbins, who, like, we go out to fall camp, you watch the one-on-one drills, and it's like, yo, that guy can bend the edge. Now, he hadn't played, but you bring back those guys, but you need to add to that, okay? You got to add to that. And so they go in the portal, and I'm looking at this, and I look at Jaylen Brown, who I wrote about for tomorrow. And that's a guy who LSU wanted out of high school. He ended up in Missouri, played as a freshman at Missouri, 6'6", 255 pounds, 39 snaps at Missouri. And then he transfers out to South Carolina and hurt his knee in spring football and missed the whole season. So, like, yeah, 4-star. Yeah, 6'6", 255, but proven? No. So I'm not going to fall into the trap of last year thinking, well, as long as Peoples gets them and they're big and physical, like he'll do the Swinson, Savion Jones thing and they'll be fine. Ability, yeah. Proven? No. You go get Jordan Ross. I'm not dismissing the addition of Jordan Ross. I am telling you that he was a 5-star, but did not do a lot his first year at Tennessee. Now, freshmen on the defensive front oftentimes don't do a lot. Got a lot to learn. In high school, you're bigger, faster, meaner than the guy across from you. You wreck shop. The SEC, all of a sudden, that tackle goes from the 6'4", 310-pound dude you were going against that doesn't even play college football in high school to, he's 3 years older, he's 6'7", he's 315, and he plays for the Ravens in 2 years. It's just a different world, right? So Jordan Ross may be a superstar. They certainly thought in Knoxville he was going to start for them next year, but not a proven superstar. You go get Achilles Woods, who played at South Alabama. I think it's a depth piece. Could he be great? Maybe. But you get the point. I can't point to any of these guys on the edge. Relaford, Shanklin, Carpenter, Cobbins, Ross, Woods, Brown. This whole group, numbers are good. I can't tell you who the best pass rusher LSU has on the roster is. I could guess. I would guess Jordan Ross. But I can't tell you for sure. And before you completely cut me off and go, they signed Lamar Brown. I don't know if I'm going to immediately toss a 5-star into that discussion as a freshman just because he had 5 stars next to him. I'm thrilled they got Lamar Brown. But, like, where's the proven game changer? And then I look to the portal. And then I see Prince Willoughby jumping in the portal. And now I know where that game changer, a proven game changer, might come from. It might come from Oxford. Prince Willoughby had 9 sacks this year in the Southeastern Conference. I was listening to an Ole Miss podcast this morning. The phraseology talking about him going to the portal and potentially leaving is like there have been some guys that have left, and you're like, oh, well, I'd like to have that guy. This is a guy who affects winning and losing, is what they said about this guy. All of a sudden now, if you change that conversation to, this is where the conversation is right this second. Okay, that's 7 guys who have some ability at defensive end. Nothing's really proven, but 7 guys, that's decent numbers, and I haven't counted Lamar Brown. Let's throw Lamar Brown in there, Trenton Henderson. Call it 8 or 9 guys. Nobody's proven. They got some talent. We'll see. You change that discussion if you go, okay, now you have Prince Willoughby, and now I need one of these 8 or 9 guys to be good. 1. That changes the equation. I got a proven potential double-digit sack guy on one side, and now I just need somebody to fill the other side, and I've got 8 options. I like that discussion better. I think that discussion's different, and I think it's very, very possible. I don't know exactly what's going on in Oxford, Mississippi right now. I'm listening to a lot of Ole Miss podcasts, not entirely to point and laugh. That's really not the point. The point is more so to hear what the vibe is over there, because there are clearly folks over there on that beat that talk to coaches, that talk to administrators. And they will often say, like, yeah, that guy's going to LSU. And then that guy will end up at LSU. So I find that information to be valuable to me as I consider what's possible for LSU in the portal. And when I see Prince William Yellen go in the portal, I'm like, well, that's a real chance to come to LSU because they think that. And so whether or not Ole Miss is paying the new guys more than the old guys, whether or not there are contracts floating around with numbers, whether or not there's rampant tampering, I don't know what's going on in Oxford. All I care about is what's going on in Baton Rouge. And you have a roster in Baton Rouge now that looks strong. You get me a proven edge rusher, you get me a proven tackle, we'll change the discussion a little bit. I'm gradually moving. Y'all heard me. A lot of you haven't been listening for 90 minutes. That's okay. I'll kind of reset things. Y'all heard me, if you've been here for 90 minutes, talk about how I've progressed in this portal cycle, which is natural. From, okay, you got a lot of work to do, to, okay, this is encouraging. Okay, that's a lot of depth. Wait, where's the ads on offensive line? Where's the ads on the proven side of the defensive line? Where are my pass rushers? I think you've addressed the offensive lines as a disaster, which it was 2 weeks ago, to now solid, but a question mark for sure. I like what you did when you added Jordan Ross to the pass rush group. And maybe he's a first-team All-League player with 11 sacks this year. But he hadn't proven that. Prince William Yellen lined it up in the Southeastern Conference on a playoff team that went to the Final Four, that played Georgia twice, that played LSU, that played Oklahoma. And he had 9 sacks. That guy's in the portal. Get that guy. And I feel like, as I sit here at 2:30-ish on Friday, LSU's got a real chance to get that guy. That's the buzz that I'm gathering over the last 4 hours. You do that, I'll come in here on Monday, and I'll sing a different tune. I don't want to get burned like I did last year. I misled you last year unintentionally. I just kind of thought Kevin Peoples would snap his fingers. And there are probably some guys he will moving forward. It's not like it was a one-hit wonder with Jones and Swinson. He'll continue to do that. It just didn't quite happen last year. So last year I was working off the assumption that Peoples was so good that he took 2 guys who hadn't been great players and made them great players. He'll do it with these guys, and they just didn't produce at that level. And that may happen again this year. It may not. But there are some guys you don't have to just completely transform to get to that level. Yellen's one of them. So I'm all for that if LSU can make it happen. I don't know where the rest of this money's coming from. I don't know how you pay 35. You're at 35 now. You get some of the guys we're talking about, you're bumping up against 40. But I don't care where the money comes from because it's not mine. So get the players, win the games, keep the money flowing. It's a continuous cycle. You're seeing it going on over there in Alex Box. I like the defensive line group. I'll love it if you can add a proven pass rusher. Prince William Yellen, that's the dude I want. We'll see. Friday show is brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Check out that menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. We will come back. I got a few topics that we haven't hit over the course of 90 minutes. We got into the show is going to be take it or leave it. So we got a couple minutes to hit a couple different topics. I'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
How about Ochsner's Eat Fit Alcohol Free 440 Challenge? That registration is open if you're looking for a fresh start this spring. Ochsner's Eat Fit Alcohol Free for 40, it's back. It's a 40-day reset to help you sleep better, boost energy, feel your best. They are not telling you, hey, quit this forever. They're just saying, hey, let's see how your body responds if you take a break. How does your body respond if you recharge? So when you sign up, you get access to pre- and post-challenge metrics like body composition, blood pressure, optional labs. You can actually see what the transformation looks like when you go for alcohol-free for 40 days. People report clearer skin, better focus, brighter mood, better sleep, and that often happens within the first couple of weeks. So if you need some nutrition tips, some zero-proof drink ideas, they got you covered over there at Ochsner. As I mentioned, registration is open. Whether you do it officially or just take on that challenge from home, it's your chance to hit reset and feel that difference. So sign up for more at alcoholfreefor40.com. That's the number 40, alcoholfreefor40.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp.
Friday shows are brought to you by Corks, but I also want to tell you about the Highland Insurance Group as well. Jonathan Carvo and his team, phenomenal folks over there at the Highland Insurance Group. They do a great job with captives. I've had some conversations with Jonathan and his team about captives. That was something that I was getting into right at the end of my insurance career. And then they said, hey, would you like to come talk about LSU football, basketball, and baseball on the radio every day from 1 to 3? And I said, yes, I would like to do that instead of deal with captives. So you can't deal with me in captives. You can deal with Jonathan Carbo and the Highland Insurance Group with captives. And they're on the forefront of this deal. I think captives are kind of the future of insurance. In many ways, they're the present. If you're a sizable organization, you pay a significant amount in premium, you've got great mismanagement, great loss control, and you're just drowning at renewal time with your insurance premiums. Contact the Highland Insurance Group and say, hey, what's the deal with the captives? Can we look at that? They can help you. There's a chance your broker doesn't have access to a captive, doesn't understand captives. It's not something that every broker gets in the business of. But the Highland Insurance Group can. So again, if you're a business, sizable premium, great loss history, good risk management, you might be a fit, and it can change your bottom line. So get involved with the Highland Insurance Group. They're right here in Baton Rouge. They can help you out statewide in the state of Louisiana. Get you into a captive for the new year. It's the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at highlandig.com. Okay. Jordan, true or false, this is the best week of football on the NFL calendar every single year, the divisional round?
I would have to say it's probably true.
I think it's best. I mean, the conference championship weekend, awesome, but it's 2 games. And the Super Bowl is awesome, but it's 4 hours. This is a weekend, and it's the best of the best. I think we've probably got the best teams in the NFL left. Jacksonville can make a play for that, I think.
Man, I can't believe that they're even here still. That's crazy to me.
I mean, Jacksonville's gone. Yeah. So, Green Bay was playing bad at the end of the year. I don't have a team that I think is better than the teams that we've got left. We've got 8 teams left, and I think you got the 8 best teams in football left. And so we'll see them do battle. It starts Saturday at 3:30 with the Bills and the Broncos. I think that this is – it's hard to say this, but I think you have to. Josh Allen has more on his shoulders than anyone in the playoffs this year.
Not even close.
I can't go with Sean Payton or Bo Nix. I can't go with C.J. Stroud or DeMeco Ryans. I can't go with Drake May or Mike Vrabel. Certainly not Ben Johnson or Caleb Williams. Maybe Stafford, second Super Bowl.
Yeah,
maybe.
Just because the time's ticking on him.
So with Stafford, you leave the Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer category, which he's not in. He's a Hall of Famer. They're not. But in terms of Super Bowls won,
you do the Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Do that. Do those guys.
Yeah, but still, they're in. But you get a second one all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I mean, you're grouped in with Eli there. I guess that's. But it's you all of a sudden you reach a different level. So that's a lot. They've got one of the best teams in the league. So, but I think for Allen to get the first one, but they're on the road every week.
Yeah.
That generally speaking gives you a little bit of a pass, but I just don't think you can give Allen a pass when the other 3 dudes in that conference that you're terrified of if you're a Bills fan are playing golf.
Yeah, no. Once Mahomes was eliminated and the Ravens didn't even make it, there was literally no excuse at this point. Like Josh Allen, if it's now, it's never, if you ask me.
I like the Broncos to win that game.
Whoa, that's where we're going?
I think their defense is going to play awesome. I think the Bills are banged up at wide receiver. I think Josh Allen's banged up, and I think that sack squad is going to be hitting him, and that's just not comfortable. It's going to be cold. He's hurt.
Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, he's used to it, but it still didn't make it any more comfortable.
Yeah.
So I like the Broncos to win that game. You go to the nightcap on Saturday. That is divisional stuff. It's 49ers and Seahawks, night game on Fox. I was a little surprised at the number on this game. A touchdown.
That's pretty big if you ask me.
I mean, a touchdown is huge. And you're talking about a good San Francisco team. I'm going to sneeze. Bad time for it.
You mute it.
I got the muter. It'll always go away, but I was at the point where I had to stop talking. No, I could not talk anymore.
I hate that point.
It's just it's a bad deal on live radio.
Just sitting on the nose.
That's a bad deal. But again, I mean, I know Seattle held San Francisco to 173 total yards and a field goal in their last game.
Yes.
I get it. But do you think that's going to happen again?
No.
I don't either. I just think a touchdown is a lot there. I would have to take the points, even though I would probably take Seattle to win. I could make a pretty clear case Seattle's the best team in football. But I would have to take the points there. Where are we with Brock Purdy?
I'm gonna tell you like this though. You're gonna know a lot out of this game because this game's really gonna boil down to: do you trust Brock Purdy more or do you trust Sam Darnold more? And I kind of leaning towards trusting Brock Purdy because Sam Darnold, he still has that. It's still a little bad taste in his mouth. Of like, is Sam Darnold, is he ever gonna have that meltdown like he did last year at the end of the year? Or like, Seahawks ain't really seen it a lot this year, but he's had games where he reverts back to Jets Sam Darnold. So
you know what helps Jets Sam Darnold if he shows up?
Yes.
Kenneth Walker. And I love this nugget that I saw on ESPN.com. I was looking through some things. Kenneth Walker in Week 18 had 4 carries of 10 or more yards on that Kubiak zone scheme.
Yeah, man.
It's something we saw the Saints really do well the first 2 weeks of last year. And
2 weeks.
It didn't last. They didn't have any. They had no offensive linemen and no running backs left, and Kamara had broken ribs, so it didn't work anymore after that. But it did work for a second. I like the ground game for the Seahawks. I can't wait to watch that one on Saturday night. I would take the Seahawks to win, 49ers to cover that one.
Come on, let us know.
On Sunday, 2:00, Texans Patriots.
Toss up, man.
That D is so good for the Texans, but that CJ Stroud stuff from last weekend is burned in my brain. I don't know what he's doing out there. Looks like he's on the JV squad.
Oh, yeah.
And if you do some of that, I mean, the Patriots are going to score.
Lights out.
I would lay the points in this one. Maybe Stroud comes out and, I mean, he's got the ability. He's got some guys to throw to. The way that the Texans win this game is they go after Will Campbell and Jared Wilson on the left side of that Patriots offensive line. They've got the dudes to do it. And we love Will Campbell. He talked a big game this week.
He always talks.
I don't know if it was a big game. It was a confident game.
Yeah.
It was not derogatory. It was confident.
Yeah.
And he does that. And he had some great quotes last year. I love talking to Will Campbell. But this is a monster matchup with Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, those dudes up front. I would lay the points here because I think C.J. Stroud is just not going to be able to keep up, and I think Drake May's been fantastic. My favorite Drake May stat, I gave it to you in week 18 when we talked about it. Patriots average 8.6 air yards per attempt. That's the third highest mark in the NFL. May is winging it down the field, and I love that. I think they'll hit some big plays. I like the Patriots to win this by 7-10 points.
Oh, man, see this game right here. It has all the built up of like, are we sure the Patriots are ready to take that leap? Because we already know, we just seen what the Texans defense did to Aaron Rodgers. Know as the Steelers and what that offense was, it's not good. It's an eyesore. But if they come off the ball, and like you said, Will Campbell's been struggling with Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, and they getting off the ball with that secondary and they're locking down. We talking Stingley, Petrie, all these guys. If they come out there and do that, are we sure that New England's going to be able to answer with these big plays? Because that's one thing the Texans do is eliminate the big play.
They do, and I think the Patriots are going to win.
We're going to see, man. I just don't know. I don't know about this game. Like that's the one game
on Nico Collins' status as well on the outside there in that game.
It's concussion.
I saw his concussion, but I didn't know if he was going to play or not.
Done.
Out?
He's
okay.
Done. He's out.
All right, then Sunday at 5:30, the nightcap, Bears hosting the Rams. Do we know that the Bears are going to be able to fall behind, force turnovers, and make plays the last 10 minutes every week? Because that's what they've been doing since September.
I can't say they're going to do this against Stafford and McVay, man. Unless Matt Stafford comes out here, I just can't see the Rams being in a situation like with Matt LaFleur where they're just giving the game away. I just can't see that. With that run game and McVay being here before in this situation.
I was surprised to learn this. Stafford has not played a game where the temperature was below 20 degrees at kickoff, and he played in the north for all those years with Chicago and Green Bay in his division. It's going to be 0 for this game.
Windy, too. You already know it's going to be windy.
So you got to run the ball, and the Bears run it pretty good. Now, the Rams front is awesome. I'm going to take the Rams to win the game.
Okay.
I think the Bears are a year away, and I just can't trust that you're going to fall behind a team with that veteran a quarterback. They thrive on turnovers. You think Stafford's going to throw it to you twice?
No.
I don't think he is. I think that McVay can coach up with Johnson, who's done a great job. Got Dennis Allen over there, your boy. And I like the Rams. Maybe that's just because I'm going with, like, it's the brand on the helmet deal, but they've just been better for longer. And I know they're on the road. It's going to be an incredible environment in Chicago. I can't wait to watch this one either. But I got the Rams going in there and getting it done. I think the Bears' magic season ends here.
No, I agree with you 100%.
And then all my Chicago people can focus on the Cubs where they should be focused right now.
Hey, look, the Cubs coming up, but I agree with you 100% because I do think the Bears are a year away. I just think they're too good, too fast. I think we already said that a couple weeks back. Like they're a little too good, too fast. They're above schedule. I think the Rams, look, I'm gonna come out and say it. I think we're looking at a Bills versus Rams Super Bowl. That's where my money is.
I would watch that.
Oh, I think it's gonna be spectacular. That's what I want. But Josh Allen's got to go through. He's got to go through the fire. He's got to go through the fire. But I think the Rams are gonna be able to pull this one off. I just trust McVay and Matt Stafford in this situation. I think the Bears will get there, just not this year.
Of the teams left, the only team I really don't have any interest in watching in the Super Bowl is Houston.
Yeah, no.
Because I don't think Stroud's any good.
No.
But Buffalo, yes. I would watch Denver, even though their offense is a little vanilla for me. But I love watching Shanahan call plays. I think Seattle's really fun to watch too. New England is... I don't know if I want to watch New England either, although it is kind of cool to see him turn over that new leaf if you don't hate him, to see May do it instead of Brady. And then Rams and Bears I would watch both in the Super Bowl for sure. So I think maybe two teams that I wouldn't want to watch. But that's my pick here for the NFL weekend to come. I'll give you a quick thought on LSU basketball. If there's a portal update, we'll give it to you and we'll get out of here on this Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You know where they are because I've been telling you for over a month now. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. You're thinking, wait, I didn't think that was a Fabry. Well, it wasn't until October 1st. You know the Fabry family. They've been here 35 years. They've had 5 locations, 3 different brands. They're so proud now to have that point for Chevy and GMC in St. Francisville. You can check out the entire inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com. They got your Chevy Tahoes. They got your Chevy Silverados. They got your Denali on the GMC side. They got great deals, wonderful customer service, which you already know because you've dealt with the Fabry family for better than 3 decades. Short drive to St. Francisville. They're also online there. And they want to remind you, they service all makes there in the service department. So if you're in the Felicianas, if you're in Point Capee, right there in Baker, north of Baton Rouge, or up towards Scotlandville, you can find a service department right there that is thrilled to help you out at Fabry Chevrolet. Check them out online, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Shout out to the folks over at Corks. If you got a birthday party coming up, got a retirement party coming up, watching football this weekend, got some folks coming over. No matter what the case may be, if you need catering order, Corks is happy to fill that. They can get you those big trays of the jumbo Gulf shrimp, crispy catfish, the shoestring fries. Get you a little slaw if you're looking for that. The honey butter rolls. They can have it ready for you to feed in bulk. They're happy to do catering orders. Give them a little bit of advance warning, and they'll get it ready for you over there at Corks. There, you can check out the menu online at corksfishandshrimp.com. Bringing our Friday shows. It's Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. All right, briefly on LSU and Missouri tomorrow from the PMAC, mid-afternoon tip-off. I've said it for a week and a half now, and I certainly won't change my tune. LSU has to win the game. It is a must-win game for LSU in the PMAC tomorrow. Must win. I am so reluctant to dump that on games. It's one of the things I actually take a little bit of pride in, is that I don't just throw that term around all over the place. If they do not win on Saturday, this season is lost. That's my opinion. I feel strongly about it. If they win on Saturday, you got a fighting chance. You have to get Thomas back, and you're going to have to do some things that seem very difficult. But SMU's had a good run of it. You took it to them. You've shown yourself to be capable. You went to A&M and played them right off their feet without Thomas. You had Kentucky beat after 39 minutes and 58 seconds. There is some good in this team, but it's a zero-sum game. You are what your record is, not how you play. You are what your record is, not how you play. They've played better. What are they? 0-4. If you go to 0-5 and you go to 0-6 and you go to 0-7 with 2 games on the road next week, turn out the lights. I hate it. I want so badly to be deeply invested in bracketology talk in mid-February. It's a lot of fun. I love it. We don't do it a lot around here, but I love it. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fake it. You have to win on Saturday. They're going to honor the 86 Final Four team. Hopefully a decent crowd shows out to give those guys the respect that they earned 40 years ago, sorry. But you got to win the game. We'll see if they do it. I will not pick them without De'Don Thomas. I didn't pick them on Wednesday. They almost proved me wrong. Hopefully they do again on Saturday. Just take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, we're going to start it off with a former Cub. So the Dodgers signed Kyle Tucker to a 4-year, $240 million deal. He's now the 8th current Dodger with a $100 million deal.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers causing a lockout in 2027. Take it or leave it.
I had this penciled in for a segment today, and there's just too much portal to get to it for a local talk show. I do not begrudge the Dodgers ownership 1 iota for this. Not any.
Okay.
None.
Take it.
They are playing by the rules. They can go ahead and do that. Is it going to be a massive problem at the collective bargaining agreements? It is.
Oh, yeah.
And it is going to cause a work stoppage because they cannot sit there in Kansas City and Tampa and Oakland/Vegas and Pittsburgh and Cincinnati and look at that and Cleveland and Milwaukee and go, what are we supposed to do here? They spent $2 billion on their not on their payroll, on their committed contracts. Their payroll is going to be $340 million. The Marlins are spending $70. It's just not. How are they supposed to handle that? Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani. Now they got Kyle Tucker. Oh, by the way, Blake Snell, Yamamoto. It's just ridiculous. And I don't begrudge the Dodgers at all. I don't hate them. Like, I'm not even – honestly, I think the Cubs can play with them in a series. I think that I would pick the Dodgers to win it. The Cubs have put themselves in a talent position where they can play with everybody in the sport. So I'm not, like, petrified of the Dodgers. I think they're a juggernaut. But I think the Cubs have finally done a good job of putting a roster together. So it's not even rooted in that. It's just this is going to be a massive problem. When you've got teams 6, 7, 8Xing teams in expenditure, it's just not a level playing field. I understand why they're concerned. Now, you're not going to get a salary cap passed. The players union will sit on the bench at April, May, June, July. They'll just sit there. And the ownership will collect no money, and the players will sit there. But they're not going to sign up for a salary cap. I don't know how they do it. But if you ask me what the solution is, it's a salary cap, but they won't be able to get it. So you're just going to have to figure out a way to create a floor, and it's brutal. It's a bad spot for baseball.
Oh, man. 8 players with a $100 million deal. I think I've never seen that before. So real quick,
and Ohtani is taking $2 million a year and deferring the whole thing. It's just like,
when is that coming to play? Like 2030
when he's
or something
done,
like that?
he makes $50 million a year when he's not even playing.
What a life, man. What a life. So real quick, it's being rumored that Kevin Stefanski's going to take the Falcons job with Harbaugh going to the Giants. So is the 2-time coach of the year going to turn the Falcons around? Take it or leave it?
Leave it.
Leave it alone.
This is Baton Rouge, Louisiana, right?
There you go.
We're right down the road from New Orleans, right?
He didn't bite the cheese. He didn't bite the cheese.
He's a good coach. I think it's an upgrade as a coach.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
They'll put a good defense on the field for sure. But I can't say the Falcons are going to turn around. This is a black and gold division for years to come. It's Shuck season, baby.
End of the day, they're still the Falcons. So that's it for take it or leave it.
All right, you can keep up with the transfer portal as we will make every effort to at louisianasports.net. If you're looking for some thought on the last 24 hours in the portal, you can find it at my page, Hunt on LSU, Hunt on LSU. Saints content, we had a little bit up today at Hunt on Saints as well. Matt's going to drive you home on After Review coming up next. Hope everybody has a safe and wonderful weekend. We're back Monday recapping the NFL weekend, portal, and, of course, LSU and Missouri as well. We'll see you then for another edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.